This video is on multiplying matrices. Now I'm going to go through some examples that you need to be very familiar with. Okay, we're going to start here with number 1. We have 3 times a 2 by 2 matrix. Okay, so this matrix has 2 rows and 2 columns, and I need to multiply it by this scalar or constant value 3. Now the way this works, okay, you just multiply the 3 to each of these numbers here in the matrix. So 3 times 2 would be 6. 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times minus 5 is minus 15, and 3 times 0 is 0. So this is the result that you get. Now here we have, I'm multiplying a 2 by 2 matrix with a 2 by 1 matrix. Now this is where the method of multiplying matrices gets a bit complicated, okay? So for now, you just need to know how to do it and practice doing them, okay, and get used to it. But then when we see some uses of this, then you will see why it makes sense as well. So the way we do this, I'll start off by writing some brackets like that. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to multiply this top row with this column here. So we got 1 times 2 add 0 times minus 5. That's how you do them. So I'll do that in 2 different colors. So we're going to multiply this with that, and that's going to be 1 times 2 add 0 times negative 5. And then for this entry here, I'm going to have to multiply these two numbers with these two again. So I'll show that in a different color. So it's going to be minus 2 times 2 add 3 times minus 5. Okay, so I have to do that. That's going to be minus 2 times 2 add 3 times minus 5. Okay, and then the result of this is my answer. So 1 times 2 is 2, add 0 is just 2, so that's going to be 2 there. And here I have negative 4 I'm going to have here, so minus 2 times 2 is negative 4. Here I'm going to have 3 times negative 5 is minus 15, so minus 4 minus 15, that's going to give me minus 19, so I'm going to have minus 19 here. Okay, so remember we do row here times the column, and you will also notice that this was a 2 by 2 matrix and this was a 2 by 1 matrix, and the result we got was a 2 by 1 matrix. Okay, so row here and then column here, and it's this first entry times this number, add this number times this number. Okay, so here it's a similar method for this. So we're gonna do, we have the matrix A here and we have the matrix B here, so both of them are 2 by 2 matrices and we need to find AB. Okay, now the order is important here, so my A needs to be on the left and the B needs to be on the right. Okay, so I'm going to start by writing that. So I'm going to have 1 0 minus 2 1, and B is 3 minus 1 5 and 0. Okay, now again it's that same method that we used for the other one. It's row times column, and then for the top left entry, then it's row times column for the top right entry, and then you can imagine how this is going to work as well, like that and that. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to have 1 times 3 add negative 2 times negative 1. So I'm going to have 1 times 3 add, I'll put this in brackets, negative 2 times negative 1. Okay, next, now I'm going to look for this entry here. So it's going to be 1 times 5 add negative 2 times 0. So I'm going to have 1 times 5 add negative 2 times 0. Now for this bottom left, it's going to be 0 times 3 add 1 times negative 1. So it's going to be 0 times 3 add 1 times -1, and this entry here should be 0 times 5 add 1 times 0. So it's going to be 0 times 5 add 1 times 0. Okay, now we just calculate these, and we can see that it's going to be a 2 by 2 matrix. So there's 4 entries here, and let's calculate them. So we're going to have 1 times 3 is 3, -2 times -1 is 2, so 3 add 2 is 5. Okay, next one, we got 1 times 5 is 5, add 0 here, so that's just 5. We have 0 here, add -1, so it's going to be -1. And here we got 0, add 0, so it's 0. Okay, so our answer is 5, 5 minus 1, 0. Okay, now here we've got another one. It says find BA. Now here, remember I said the order is important, and now we'll see why it's important. Okay, so this time we're going to do it in the other order. The B is going to be on the left and A is going to be on the right. Okay, so let's do that and see what we get. So we have 3 minus 1, 5 and 0. 1, 0, so should be 1, 0, and then -2 and 1. Okay, so this time we got 3 times 1 add 5 times 0, so that's going to be 3. Then I have 3 times -2, that's -6, add 5 times 1, which is 5, so that's going to be -1. Then I have -1 times 1, which is -1, add 0, so that's going to be -1 here. And here we have -1 times -2, that's going to be 2, add 0 times 1, so that's just 2. Now notice how when we did A times B, we got this matrix here, and we did B times A, and we got a different matrix. Okay, so when we're multiplying matrices, we need to keep the order as it's been given to us. Okay, so if the A is on the left here, we need to have A on the left here. When the B is on the left here, we need to have B on the left here. Okay, because multiplying matrices, we can't change the order like that. Now, here's a question. Now, I'd like you to pause the video and have a go at this question. So, given that this multiplication equals to this, find A and B. So, pause the video now and then have a go. Okay, so for this question, what we can do is we can just work with the left-hand side, just multiply this out and then see what we get, and then we'll compare our values with these values that we have here. So, let's do that. So we're going to start with 1 times 2 add A times 1. So let's do that. So 1 times 2 add A times 1. Then I have 1 times 2 add A times B. So 1 times 2 add A times B. Then I have 3 times 2 add 1 times 1. So that's going to be 3 times 2 add 1 times 1. And we have 3 times 2 add 1 times B. So 3 times 2 add 1 times B. Okay, so now I'm just going to simplify these. Okay, so I'm just going to calculate some of these and simplify them. So this is going to be, so this first one is 1 times 2, that's 2 add A, so 2 add A. Here we have 6 add 1, that's 7. This is 2 add AB. and this is 6 add B. Okay, so now we know that when we multiply this is the result that we get. So we just compare it with this matrix. We can see that the 7 here matches with that 7, so that's quite easy. Now I know 2 plus A must be 4, so I can write an equation. 2 plus A is equal to 4, and that means A must be 2. And here I've got 6 plus B, which is 9. So let's write that down. 6 plus B is equal to 9. That must mean B is equal to 3. And this last one here, let me check if this works out. So I've got 2 plus AB, so let's do that. 2 plus AB. Now if I substitute these values, I should get 8. So let's see if that works. So 2 plus, so A is 2, so 2, and B is 3, so 2 times 3 there. So 2 times 3 is 6, so that is going to be 8, and this is what we needed. Okay, so the values for A is, the value for A is 8 is 2, and the value for B is 3. Now here are some questions for you to try. Okay, it's quite a lot of questions, and you need to practice this. Okay, this is the only way to get good at this. For now, you need to just practice them, and then when we see some uses of this, then hopefully it will become more useful to you, and you will understand why we're multiplying matrices in this way. So answer these questions and bring that to the lesson.